Okay, so this worksheet asks you to calculate the average speed, but it asks you to do it, I ask you to make a graph first. So we're going to do a lab where we use Hot Wheels, and you can watch the video of it, and we're going to need to calculate average speed. So we know the equation for average speed that we've talked about before is that speed equals distance over time. And we have said to use this nice little triangle. So whenever I see the word speed, I automatically just draw that on my paper. So it gives me the time and it gives me the distance. And this worksheet was really nice, and it went ahead and put distance and time on the graph for me. So I don't have to figure out how to label my X and Y axis. It did it for me. So it says at 0 minutes, the distance was 0. So I'm going to go to my graph, and at 0 minutes, the distance was 0, and I'm going to put a dot. At 1 minute, the distance was 50 meters. So at 1 minute, the distance was 50 meters. And 50 isn't on my graph, so I'm going to guess 50 is about halfway between 40 and 60, and I'm going to put a dot. At 2 minutes, the distance was 75 meters. So at 2 minutes, the distance was 75, so 70 is halfway between 60 and 80. 75 is a little bit more than half. At 3 minutes, the speed was 90. At 4 minutes, the speed was 110. And at 5 minutes, the speed was 125. So right above that line there. And now I'm going to connect all of my dots. All right, so then let's go to the bottom half of the worksheet. It wants to know what is the average speed after 2 minutes. All right, so first thing we always look for is our givens for speed, distance, and time. And it says, what is the average speed? That's what we're looking for. So that's our unknown. It says after 2 minutes. So it doesn't give us a distance, but it gives us this nice graph up here. So we can find the distance. At 2 minutes, the distance was 75 meters. So I'm going to plug in that information. The distance is 75 meters. And the time was 2 minutes. So I'm going to draw my S, T, D, divide, multiply. Here's my triangle. All right. Looking for speed. So I'm going to use distance divided by time. So I'm going to plug in what I know. My distance is 75 miles. My time was in 2 minutes. I'm going to grab my calculator. 75 divided by 2 is 37.5. None of my units cancel, so miles per minute. All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump down to number 4 and do work number 4 with you. So number 4 is looking for average speed. So I can put speed, distance, time. We're looking for speed. That's what we don't know. Between 2 and 4 minutes. All right. So this is where it's going to get a little tricky. Our distance between minutes 2 and 4. So we're going to go back up here to our graph. So at 2 minutes, we were at 75 meters. At 4 minutes, we were at 110 meters. So we need to figure out how far it is between 110 and 75. So 110 minus 75 gives us 35 meters. And then we know between 2 and 4 minutes, we know between 2 and 4 meters, there's 2 minutes, right? So my time is going to be 2 minutes. And I'm going to use my distance triangle, my speed triangle, and I'm going to find my answer here. So let's look at 5. 5 wants to know the average speed between 4 and 5 minutes. So I'm going to set up speed, distance, time. We're looking for speed. The time is between 4 and 5 minutes. So that gives us 1 minute difference between 4 and 5. But we need to know how far they went in that little interval of time. So we're going to come up here, and at 5 minutes, they were at 125 meters. At 4 minutes, they were at 110 meters. So I'm going to subtract 125 minus 110. So in this 1 minute interval here, they went 15 meters. So my distance that I'm going to use for the problem is going to be 15 meters. Now I can plug it in and calculate my average speed. All right, so that should give you all of the information you need to go ahead and complete 2 and 4 and find those answers for me for 4 and 5.